Hey, what's going on, guys? Hex here, and today I thought we'd take a look at Transformers Masterpiece MP-25 tracks. So it's been a while since I've done a Masterpiece review or even a Transformer review, but wanted to show this guy off finally. It does come with quite a bit, so I wanted to go ahead and get into the accessories. First thing I wanted to show off is this little bitty mini blaster. If we can get it to focus here. Oh, there we go. But you can see the Autobot logo on there. Looks really good. All the nice little paint, just very cute little blaster there, but I don't think it's one of those things that I necessarily needed, but it's cool to have it. Also one that I didn't necessarily need, but it's still, you know, it's kind of cool to have. Raul, which was, he was in a lot of the episodes that Trax was kind of like the highlight character in that episode. I can see his nice little ponytail back here. There's some nice paint. He doesn't have any eyes, which is very common with you know, all these Masterpiece figures. But quick little question to you guys, which one would you have preferred? Would you have liked a Raul, this style that had some articulation, or just a little bit more painted, detailed, and have them like this? Because you obviously, even if he was did have the articulation, he wouldn't be able to fit inside Trax, or at least I don't think he would be. But you can see him as far as scale, he is tiny. You would think, because his head is probably just barely over the hood of the car, and Corvettes really aren't that tall. So as far as, you know, scale goes, it's off. Also, you know, the size of the blaster is maybe off a little bit, but even though scale is very important in the Masterpiece line, those are like kind of like just little extras that aren't really that important to me, so it doesn't matter. This section here, you can see that it is also been used in the cartoons. So the way you attach this, you can see that there's these two little notches here at the top. So you would come in at this angle, putting the top section in first, and then pulling down, and it's locked into place, and you can't take it out. So you would just bend it this way. And his gun, this gun is from the cartoon, because it's obviously not the gun that the toy comes with, or the G1 toy. So I do like this. I thought the gun that came with the toy was kind of lame looking anyway, but very cool to have this. The other thing that you get are two sets of mirrors, and you'll notice that on the mirrors you can actually see some silver paint, which they didn't do with the Lambors or the Datsuns or even Wheeljack. So I do like that. Very nicely done. You can already kind of see one of the problems here is these mirrors don't stay in very well, so I wanted to make sure that I did this review to show that off before I glue them in, because that's what I'm going to do. But they come out way too easy. Even when I like pressed them in there and thought that they were in there very good, just the slightest little touch makes them fall out. So for this review, I'm going to take them out because I don't want to lose them. I've already done that once, but I do like the fact that they're painting the insides of them silver. Just adds a little bit more detail to the figure and makes it really feel like a masterpiece. All right, taking a look at the car, you can see the nice metallic blue paint going all the way around, the nice Stingray wheels. You do see Trax's head right there, but you know, everything else is compact pretty well. So that doesn't really bother me that much. And I'd rather it be clear like it is here instead of it painted over or something like they do with, you know, the Lambos where it's painted. I want it clear. It looks much better. But taking around here, pressing those down a little bit better. You can see the red tail lights. You get these circles back there. Looks very nice. And then also the Corvette logo here on the back. It's nicely detailed, as well as on the front. It's just, you know, connects there. And, you know, looking at the paint with the logo here on the hood. I like the way that it looks, and because it is split down the middle, and it's one of those things you have to connect it, the fact that it all lines up perfectly is actually a surprise. So very well done. Unlike, what is it? Red Alert had some problems. So there are some other features that you can do. If you just kind of push back here a little bit, you can pop the hood up. This is part of transformation, but I like how you can also use it here in its car mode. There's a nice painted silver engine. I've never owned a Corvette, so I have no idea if that's what the engine of a Corvette looks like, but either way, it's pretty cool. And just shut that down. You'll notice that it doesn't fit flush right here. That might be because I didn't push it all the way, but there is a little bit of a gap here. But that's because of transformation. This is all going to, separate. This is all breaks up. You'll see whenever we get into the transformation. But the way we're going to do this review is we're going to go from car to the flight mode to robot and then go back to the car mode. So if you're struggling, because I know how the car always does the directions, they're like, all right, here's how you go from car to robot, and then, you know what, just reverse what you just did. And sometimes it's a little bit harder than that. So, and some people said that they enjoyed me doing that. So just doing these to help you guys out. So whatever you need. It does roll, as you can kind of see here. It does have the plastic wheels. And the last accessory, which is very cool, the stand. So you can see you got a nice Tampograph Autobot logo on there, and it can bend in 3 different places, down here, here, and here. So you get this one. It's a little bit loud. Sounds like like you're shooting like BB gun or something. The other ones are not as loud. They just move quietly. And this one does too. So we'll take a look at the stand a little bit later on whenever we get him into his flight mode, which we're going to do right now. The first thing that you do is pull these wings back just like so. And I'll pull them back a little bit further. And then we can see this section and this section are tabbed into each other. So you want to kind of grab those like that, just kind of wiggle them off, and you can pull this back, which allows you to get to these, disconnect. That was pretty easy, and come out with those. Now you see this section here. You know what, let me get these wings out of the way. This section here, you'll want to bring that rod this way, this rod there. So pull that out, and pull that out right there. Then with this, you're going to see these 2 sections can bend. I'll just kind of get these arms all the way. Can bend down, and then you're going to bend down on both those, and then bend up where the tire is facing up. And then you're going to rotate this to where the paint is also facing the same direction as the tire, looking up. You'll see that there's a peg right there. There's a hole right there. And that's how you know if you've done those correctly. I do the same thing on this. If you haven't bent this down already, bend that down. Bring the arm out, tires up, rotate the paint where the tire is looking, and then you can plug that in on the side. Then with this section here, you're going to bring these wings like so. You don't want to go ahead and pull them out all the way yet, because whenever you try to bring this in, they're just going to hit the back of the tire. So make sure that you just leave them straight out, just like that. A couple of other things that I need to get to, but I don't have any fingernails, so you want to get to these missiles. And if I can just lift those up a little bit. And get this one too. Give me your missile. There we go. So I'm going to pull those out and also give these a little push, so you don't have to come down all the way with them. Just give them a little push so you can grab them on the outside here. And with these missiles, just leave them like so. They can chill back here. Again, make sure that the wing's done on the inside, and then we can pull this back around, and you don't want those to fall down, and snap it back into place. There we go. And then you can bring these wings out. And there you got him in his flight mode. You can go ahead and add this little thing right here that just plugs into the license plate like I've already shown you. But yeah, that's not too bad. You know, it just shows more paint there. I think they pulled it off quite nicely. And just adjust those little missiles there. So he's got a little bit of firepower here. Shoot people down there. All right, and putting him on the stand, you can see that there's a hole right here that's just going to plug in right there quite nicely. and just give you a little 360. The stand actually works pretty well too. That might be a little too much, but we can bend him like this so you can get a little bit better look. So I like his flight mode. Pretty good. You can see that he balances the stand. It's you know, it's very lightweight, but it seems to be holding him pretty well, even though we have a lot of his you know, weight distributed towards the front here. So we'll go ahead and undo that, and we'll get into the robot mode. So what we're going to need to do is take this section off, and we're just going to go ahead and come down with that. Unplug the arms. There we go. And we'll just come back with these missiles. And you can see whenever you turn these all the way back, it actually pushes the center part of the lights, brings that around, and you can see that it reveals a little bit more paint right here. So usually come all the way back with the missiles and then reveal that a little bit. Then we're going to separate this section again, and we're going to rotate it. The wings, I'm going to just come back, or as far back and get them out of the way as I can. And with the arms, you're going to bring those back to where they're even, like they were normally whenever he was in his car mode. And we're going to come up. So you can see this section right here, it rotates, and you can see where it kind of stops it right there. Same thing over here. So they're obviously loose, but to get them to lock into place, you're going to grab this section and swing this up. Before you connect, you're going to bring the head out. There we go. And it stops right there. Give it another push. So another little click right there. Go ahead and reveal the Autobot logo, and there is a tab here and a tab there that's going to fit into that spot and that spot, and that locks those into place. So now those arms are staying up there. Finish this up. We're going to come down here, open those up, and then spin these around like so. With this section, you want this and this. You see how they kind of have these little tabs right there? You want them to just fit right over this part of the door. There we go. So they don't tab in anywhere, but it just helps it where it sets, you know, and kind of holds it a little bit in place. Then with the missiles, I'm just going to come down with those. There we go. And the wings, they leave them kind of back a little bit so that you can get, you know, a little bit better movement here in the shoulder. But for the hands, I'm going to come out, and you see this outward section here. Make sure you line that up to where I can fit in that hole there, and reveals the hand, which is, I think, a kind of cool little gimmick as far as the transformation. Instead of opening a panel and folding it out, I do like that. So we'll do the same thing over here. Line that up to where that can fit into that shape. There we go, and there's the hands done. All right, so for the bottom section, we're going to rotate here at the waist. I want this to untab. There we go. All right, so for the bottom section, we're going to separate. And I was having trouble earlier, and it's this section right here. That I was having problems with, so I'm going to get something in there to just help me pry it open a little bit. Hopefully that worked. There we go. Yeah, it's this peg right here that gets into that right there, and it's kind of hard to pull apart. And you can see that these little bitty panels are like real thin and fragile that you don't want to pull apart and end up breaking one of those or bending it. So if you got like a little tack or something you can kind of pry it open just to soften it up whenever you pull it apart. That kind of helps. Something I kind of recommend. But as far as the legs, to get those separated, I'm going to go ahead and this section here, you can see that it has the rotating joint there and rotating, so you can just pull this down. The same thing with this, pull that down and collapse that. Then you're going to separate the wheel from the leg, or not the wheel, but this outer section. Outer panel. There you go. You can see that it is separated now. You're going to bring this down, but this gray section, you're going to bring this back. You see there's a little tab there. That's going to fit. Bring that around until it clicks into place. You hear it like that. Then you can bring the foot down, bring this down, and then go ahead and push that back in. Then with this middle section, you're just going to rotate and pull it towards the front of the leg there. Do the same thing with this one. We're going to separate from the leg. There we go. Start bringing this down. Pull that gray section around all the way. Tabs into place. Pull the foot down. Swing this around. Push that back in. Rotate this little panel. You can see that it rotates and it also comes to the front of the car, or the front of the leg. And that completes the legs. So now we got them all transformed in his robot mode. Get that foot to bend in. And just kind of get him posed a little bit here. There we go. That's pretty good. And there is tracks. So give you guys a little bit of a 360. Yeah, everything's been focused. So this section, it's probably gives you the biggest problem, just because it just fits over. This right here, it just fits over there. It's nothing to click into, and it kind of gets the wings get in the way of the shoulders sometimes. That's why I kind of leave them back, even though some might keep them like this. I just keep them all the way back. Try to get them out of the way as much as possible. And let's see. Okay, I didn't have that. This section here, it came untabbed while messing with the legs. All right, so now I think we got them the way that we need. It's just, that's as far as, I don't know, engineering. I don't know what all goes into, whenever the design process, engineer it. This section here, though, with the wings, where the shoulders are supposed to be, it's kind of like both of them are supposed to be there. It's just a little difficult. You can kind of see what I mean there. Other than that, I think, it's a really good figure. I like it. I think the design of it is, pretty good for the most part. It's just, you end up running into some difficulty getting these shoulders in the right place that you want them to, and stuff starts coming untabbed that you've already tabbed in. The only other problem that I have that is just with my personal figure, this isn't a wide known thing, but the left leg, it's loose there. Now it does still, bend in its joints. You can hear that it has, quite a few joints in there. So those are fine, and it'll stay whenever I put it in that joint. It'll stay in there, but in between those clicks, it's loose there. So that's just my personal figure. The right leg it's fine, but I don't have any other looseness anywhere else on the figure. Now as far as posability goes, or what, let's take a look at the paint. The face here. You can see that he's got some light blue eyes. If we can get those in the light there, and that burnt orange reddish orange face. The Autobot logo looks really cool. You can see some more paint up here. And also with the wings where you got that, kind of reddish orange paint with the yellow. You can also see it here on the wrist, the waist, down to the knees. And also there's some paint here on the feet, which looks really good. Toward the back, you can still see that beautiful paint there, and also on the back part of the wings. Now, as far as articulation goes, the head, it's on a ball joint, so it can rotate. It can tilt side to side. It can 360 all the way that way. Because we went that other click, you can even look down. So if you had say Bumblebee, like he's talking about Bee, and he wants to look up at him. So makes that kind of cute. With the shoulders, they go back and forth like this, but I wouldn't recommend it. And they go in and out. They rotate here. He does rotate here at the elbow. He also bends 90 degrees at the elbow. The hands, they do rotate. They do have the clamp for the fingers. The waist, it rotates. The legs go forward, back, go all the way out. They do rotate here at the thigh, so you can see right there is where the thigh cut is. The knees bend back almost 90. They actually go forward a little bit there. That's part of the transformation. The feet go back and forth, and they also do tilt in. So if you wanted to get like some crazy, pose, then you can try to pull it off if you can get them to balance right. But as far as comparisons go, there we go, get that done there. We'll bring in Wheeljack, which is, I love this mold. This mold is really good. As far as everything tight, everything fits where it needs to be. Nothing kind of loosens up. I love the Wheeljack exhaust mode. But you can see them there with, one of the other guys that's supposed to be in kind of the same around height. There's one of the smaller figures and a Bumblebee, and then bringing in one of the larger ones on the MP-10. So you can kind of see where they fit as far as the scale goes. And obviously he's going to be a lot shorter than Star Saber and Ultra Magnus. Now you can still use the flight stand whenever you have them in robot mode. You would just turn this, and it still just plugs into his butt there. And now you've got them on the stand, so you can implement the stand while also keeping them in robot mode, which is probably what I'll do, considering that I like to have all my figures in robot mode. But the stand's just too cool, so that's something that I will do. Like I mentioned before in the beginning of the video, there's a lot of other stuff you can put on his butt here. There is the gun, so you can do it this way or this way, I guess, however you want to. Okay, there we go. So you got that in there, and then you could needs Blaster to watch his back, so you can plug them. All those right there. Let's get this gun out of the way. There we go. So it looks a little silly, but especially from the front, because you have no idea what that is. But you can plug it in there. It's mainly for whenever you put him into car mode, so you can store this stuff. I don't care about it. But anyways, that is a look at track. So let's go ahead and get him back into his car mode, and we'll be done with this, guys. I know it's been one of the longer Masterpiece reviews, but I wanted to make sure that I covered everything. So first thing that we're going to do is work on the legs. Going to rotate this and bring that in. Rotate, whoops, wrong way. Rotate that, bring that in. Going to separate here. There we go. And then you want to rotate whenever you're coming back with this section. You're going to come back this way, and don't forget you need to undo the silver part. Bring that all the way back around, and then that foot will rest easy right there. And then you can push that back in, and you can bring this section back. You're going to do the same to this section here. So separate there. Going to bring it back around this way and unplug the gray section. Bring that back around, and that'll help you get that foot into the place you want to. Then you can push that in and bring this section back. We'll go ahead and rotate at the waist and connect here. There we go. And everything's lined up the way it's supposed to, I believe, at least. All right, so the next thing that we're going to do is detach this back section from holding on to those doors, and we can bring those around. And you can see that there is a little notch right there, and there's a plug or a peg there, so that's going to fit in there, and then those will close up. Another thing to mention is whenever he's in robot mode, you can see that, like, this is one of the sections that, you know, you never see. It looks like there's a door handle right there, and it's to make it look that way to, you know, whenever it's in robot mode. So I think that that's a nice little attention to detail, even though, you know, the door, it's actually on the opposite end. But to just close that, plug that back in, and push that back over. So far so good. Bringing this section, just want to be careful with the window because it's kind of like behind these little screws, so just kind of pop that. There we go. And bringing this down, going to rotate Autobot logo, or you can leave it out, whatever your preference is. Push the head back and bring that down. Then with the tire section, you're going to come down from that being tilted. This section here, you're going to push these in. There we go. Where those middle things are both. There we go. All the way up against there. Go ahead and rotate this section here. I'm going to come down with, we got to get the hands done. All right, so we got the hand, and you're going to fold that over so it lays flat. Do the same thing with this one, and that lays flat. Then you can bend these over, and you want this to be facing on the inside, so you want the paint to be up against the tire. Like so. So tire and paint that way. The same with that. And then these connect right there. Kind of a soft click. They don't click in there like very well, but somewhat they stay together. Then with this section here, you're going to bring these little missiles back over. Bring this missile back over as well. And then you're just going to start rotating these down, or this back section here, so where you can get the tail lights back out. And then push these down toward those missiles lay down flush up against the back window. And then we can come down with this section here. Go ahead and tab that in. Tab that in as well. And these are just going to rotate, and there's that tab, and there's that little notch right there that you're supposed to try to get it in, but mine never wants to fit in there very well. Always pops out. Yeah, so. And do the same with this one here. But anyways, there is the transformation back to its car mode. So everything that you get obviously the figure, the stand, you get his gun, the front portion there, you get 2 sets of mirrors, the blaster, and the Raoul. So thanks a lot for watching, guys. Hopefully you enjoyed. Sorry for it being so long, but I wanted to make sure that I covered every single little thing for you guys. But thanks a lot for watching. Hopefully you guys enjoyed. Talk to you later. Peace.